Viewers and subscribers, welcome back to the channel. You don't know it's a boy SAE. Bless upon yourself and thank you all for tuning in. Some wonderful people. We have a little update as regards to the West Indies test versus Australia, where we are seeing that Australia, two top players have not been confirmed to play in the first test. Plus we also gonna zoom in on Dwayne Bravo being named the head coach of the TKR for the 2025 season, taking over from Phil Simmons. But, my wonderful people, before we fill you guys and the details, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn on the post notification bell to be the first alerted whenever a new video is uploaded. So, without further ado, people, let's dive into the details. So, let's first talk a little bit about Dwayne Bravo being named the new head coach of the um, TKR Knight Riders, for CPL 2025. And I must say, congratulations to Dwayne Bravo. He has been making his way on the coaching scene over the last years or so, our last couple of years, guys, and I'm pleased to see that, he's transitioning really well from the IPL, from his playing career up to coaching a team where he said that he helped build, and I'm happy, as a fan of Dwayne Bravo, who have watched him a lot and enjoy him bowling. Now we are witnessing him in a different role, Heart of love to Phil Simmons, he did his part, for the TKR last season, and I think they got to the CPL semi-final or final, something like that, guys, and they did pretty well, guys. But to be frank, guys, the team that the TKR had, guys, or have up till now, it's a sure pick to bring them to the semi-final. So it's just the fact that some of the time, guys, things don't really go their way, when it come on to important games. But based on paper, anybody get this team, guys, should be able to get this team to a semi-final spot, because it's a playing team. If you look on the team, it's a playing 11, so I'm just waiting to see what Dwayne Bravo have up his sleeve and what he can bring to the party. But he's young, vibrant, similar to Darren Sammy, one of West Indies great, all rounder, both of them at one point were competing for the all rounder slot in West Indies cricket. But at the end of the day, we all know how that situation go. But I'm happy to see both of them now, man, transitioning into coaching, they're still contributing to the cricket fraternity. But yes, my people, that's the latest news. And Dwayne Bravo, he break the news, I think, on his social media, telling you guys that he has been named the head coach and he's looking forward to contribute to a team that he helps build from the scratch, Thanks Phil Simmons for what he has done, but new people in charge now in himself, so it's time for him to take the job or take things serious or take it to another step. You understand what I'm trying to say? So let's move right along to Australia news as regards to the West Indies versus Australia. Um, we're hearing that Marnus Labuschagne, who we know have been struggling, guys, of late. He's not should I say, the Marnus Labuschagne we started 3 years ago or 4 years ago. He has been struggling, and the teams, the coaching or the people in Australia have been working with him. They are saying that they have opted to give him the chance to open the batting in the World Test Championship final versus South Africa. As we know, they lost. He's saying that that was a last push to really try if he can salvage little thing or rediscover himself. You understand? But it just never really work out, and it just the fact that the first test they're not sure of picking him, so they're not picking him for the first test. Sam and also English will come in, and there are other news as well as regards to Steve Smith, who we know got injured in the World Test Championship final. I think his splint is a finger, I think his small finger, guys, was wounded. He never did surgery, but I think they said it would take 8 weeks to heal. So by the second test, I think Steve Smith should make his return to the team, and possibly Marnus Labuschagne. But this is a great opportunity for the West Indies. It's a weakening team, Qantas scoring 65 of 60 or 65 on test debut. We start Josh English, the wicketkeeper, scoring 100 on debut versus Sri Lanka. So a pretty good replacement, them guys. But I think West Indies have a chance, to really capitalize on these these two players, these two important players missing. But you know, it's still not going to be easy. But you know, as a West Indies fans, we always want to look at the positive and look at the ways in order to help West Indies, or you know, try to see the loophole that the West Indies can capitalize and help out themselves. But yes, my people, you know, we're gonna matter of fact, let's hear how the Australian people describe these two players missing. All right. Labuschagne dropped Smith ruled out of first West Indies test. Wonderful people, Marcus Labuschagne has been dropped for the first test against West Indies, and Steve Smith ruled out through injury, with Sam Qantas and Josh English named as their replacements. The two changes were confirmed 5 days before the opening test in Barbados on June 25th, meaning Australia will have a significantly different batting lineup to the World Test Championship final against South Africa. Qantas will earn his third cap, having not featured since the two outings against India, which began with his 65 balls and debuted at the MCG. English scored a century on his test debut against Sri Lanka in Gali. Labuschagne has been moved to up to open in the World Test Championship final, right? With the selectors opting for a last show of faith, but came away with scores of 17 and 22 to continue a 2-year lean run in Test cricket. Marnus, at his best, can be a really important member of this team, Chair of Selector George Bailey said. He understands his output hasn't been at the level we or he expects. We will continue working with him and the areas of his game we feel he needs to rediscover. We continue to value his skills and expect him to work through the challenge positively. Smith, meanwhile, suffered a compound dislocation to the little finger and his right hand, which dropping a chance offered by Timbabavuma on the third day at Lords. He avoided surgery but has to wear a splint for 8 weeks. However, there is hope he will be able to play later in the West Indies series. Steve needs more time for the wound to heal, so we'll give him another week's rest and assess his functionality. After that, Bailey said, we have made the decision to give Josh and Sam the opportunity to replace Steve and Marnus. We are excited to see them get the chance to further their um, fledgling test careers. In his only opportunity in Test cricket to date, Josh was outstanding in Sri Lanka, showing great intent and ability to put pressure on the opposition. The batting order will be confirmed closely to the test, although Qantas will likely open with Usman Khawaja, as will the full 11 depending on conditions. There is a chance Australia could go up to for two frontline spinners with Matt partnering Nathan Lyon. You understand, my people? So that's the news coming out of Australia test team camp.